Hello, and welcome to our presentation around engaging with parents to support young children's communication. My name's Louise Rylance, I'm a speech and language therapist, and later in the presentation you'll be hearing from Frances Benson, also a speech and language therapist. The aims of this presentation are to help you understand the importance of engaging with parents to support the development of speech, language and communication in our young children. We're going to consider the key messages that we'd like parents and families to know about supporting speech, language and communication, and to think about some resources and strategies, as well as some activities that will help parents to support their children's communication skills at home. We're also going to think about different ways of engaging families to support all of their needs. So why is this so important? We know that the more parents are engaged with their children's learning in their educational setting, school or nursery, the better educational outcomes those children are likely to have. If we can support parents to know what to look out for and what to expect in their children's development, they might be the first to identify any difficulties or concerns, and certainly will be the people that enable their child to access services and appropriate support when that might be needed. We know that our early attachment relationships with those significant caregivers that occur during that neonatal period and around birth is the basis for communication development. So early support for parents around communication with their babies is vital. The amount and type of language used at home has a significant effect on children's overall language development and therefore their later learning. Parents are our children's first and most consistent educators and know their child the best. Children spend most of their time with their parents and carers, so they are essential partners in our drive to address communication needs and provide support. Every family is unique. We need to welcome them, listen to them in order to provide the right support. We all have a responsibility to work with all our families for the best outcomes for children, and clear leadership regarding partnership with parents will provide the right foundations. Before you move on to the next slide, just pause the presentation for a few moments and have a think about the benefits of working together with parents. Consider the benefits for you as a setting, the benefits for parents, and also the benefits for the children themselves, and make a few notes before you move on to the next slide. Now you've had to think about it, read through the notes on this slide and see if there's anything else that you can add to your list. Pause the presentation and take a few moments to read through before you move on. So to summarise, parents have a really important role to play in supporting their children's speech, language and communication, and this support and working together brings benefits for both the child themselves and for you as a setting. So what are the key messages we need to be sharing with our parents and why are they important? We've split this into three key areas. Firstly, the box at the top, we need to think about supporting our families to understand just how important speech, language and communication development is for their child or children. So thinking about why it matters. We also need to support families to understand what to look out for as their child grows and develops. Where should their child be at in terms of their language and communication, and what can they expect to be coming next? We also want to think about how we can encourage parents to support their children's development at home. It's important to think about using everyday opportunities. We all lead busy lives and sometimes being asked to do extra things can just feel too much. So using routines and our everyday activities can feel much more manageable. For some though, having focused time is helpful, so being able to give ideas for more focused play and activities is also really useful. So let's start with this first box. How can we support our families to understand just how important speech, language and communication skills are, and to understand what to expect and when for their children? Understanding the importance of speech, language and communication often comes down to us showing that we think it matters. Do your families hear you talking about understanding, about speech, listening, about interaction and all of those different skills? Are they seeing information displayed in your setting, being sent home or on your social media accounts, on your apps and on your website? We need families to see that we are making this a priority. We know that speech language and communication is often a priority for you in your settings, so let's make sure that we let parents know that too. There are lots of different resources and sources of information to support us to know what to expect when in terms of speech, language and communication development. We've added here the Speech and Language UK website, which has some lovely information around ages and stages, which you can use yourselves and also signpost families too. There's also some really nice information on the BBC Tiny Happy People website, particularly for our younger children. Some of you may also be displaying information such as this poster from Speech and Language UK and other information in your settings that families can have a look at. You'll also be using information from your EYFS to help parents know what to look out for and be encouraging in the coming months. If you don't already have this document, we'd highly recommend downloading the Universally Speaking 0 to 5s document. You can download it for free on the Speech and Language UK website, and it's a really useful tool for yourselves as practitioners, but also to use in discussions with families. It breaks down information into really easy, readable chunks. If you feel you need to develop your confidence in understanding typical development of speech, language and communication, you can also access our workshops for more information. This is all available on our website.
Thanks, Louise, for that first part of the presentation. Now we are going to talk about how we can best engage and support your parents in your setting. There are two main messages. The first is how to support speech, language and communication through everyday activities and routines. The second is how we promote and increase the importance of communication, which includes some ideas for structured activities, resources for your parents. It can be challenging at times to engage with all parents, especially if you work in a busy setting. Let's have a think about some of the ways to engage your parents. Consider having opportunities to chat with your parents, whether this is during drop-offs or pick-ups, or perhaps at stay-in-play sessions. A stay-in-play session could be an opportunity to model effective interaction strategies for communication, such as being face-to-face, letting the child lead. You could also point out when the parents naturally use these strategies themselves and how their child responds. Let me give you an example. It could be, let's say, Joe. He's having his nappy changed, and the parent is face to face making cooing noises back to him. You may want to say something like, "I really liked the way you copied Joe's noises, as Joe really seemed to want to make more noises back and was really interested in what you had to say." Some parents may like information sessions on communication. For some settings, parent PowerPoint presentations and newsletters may work well. You will need to consider what resources you could share, what you would like to display, or if you could get the message across during a themed activity, for instance, when carving pumpkins, making Christmas decorations, as this could be an opportunity whilst there to talk about top tips of communicating with the child. Home visits can be invaluable in getting to know your children and liaising with parents. This is an opportunity to find out what interests a child. A child is going to be more engaged and communicate more if they are interested in the topic matter and therefore interested in what you have to say and do. In the middle of this slide, you can see there's a list of some of the possible ways you could consider sharing information. Often having a range of ways to support parents is the best, so you can ensure you meet all your family's needs. A parents board having information about communication, things like top tips, links to useful websites like the BBC Tiny Happy People and Speech and Language UK could be something to consider in raising the importance of communication. This slide again emphasises the importance of having a range of different ways to engage parents when promoting speech, language and communication. This is because we all have different learning styles. Now, pause the slide and make a list of different ways you support parents in your setting. Consider whether it meets the needs of all your families. If a parent is struggling to engage, we need to consider why. Creating a trusted, open rapport with your parents can be a good first step. It can be useful to adapt your language to their style and their level. Show active listening by truly listening to what they say. Often using their own words back can help with this, and checking in with them by summarising what they have to say. Have I got this right? Anything else? They can be useful questions to explore further. Building links between home and school with sending photographs of what your child has done and communicated can be helpful. Bringing objects from home and talking about them using open-ended questions for older children, for instance, why have you brought this? What does it do? And with your younger children, maybe exploring how the object feels and any noises it makes. And of course, for your younger children, you will be modelling simpler language. Some settings use story sacks or lending books as a way to make links with families. This can be a great way of encouraging early literacy skills. Consider having some top tips of how your parents could support their communication whilst reading. Making a bookmark or a simple leaflet to accompany this could be beneficial. Some parents may like to watch a video of you modelling how to chat, play and read. There are some further ideas on the Blackpool Teaching Hospital website under Paediatric Speech and Language Therapy. The link is on this slide, so pause the video now so you can take a look at more ideas to encourage your parents to chat, play and read. Some further ideas about how best to support communication when engaging with parents include resources such as the Ready Steady Talk books and the Babbling Babies, and these can be found on the Speech and Language UK website. The Ready Steady Talk book has some clear activities of how both practitioners and parents can support their child's listening and attention, understanding and expressive language. For your babies and toddlers, Babbling Babies and Toddler Talk are fabulous resources to use. These have small postcards with top tips and activities you can try in your setting and share some of the best ideas with home. I am sure you already sing nursery rhymes in your setting, but explaining and getting the message across to parents may be your next step. Nursery rhymes are so important in developing our children's brains. Slowing these down, using gestures as support, using props and lots of repetition can be really useful. You could use the objects of the nursery rhymes as a way the children can choose which song to sing. For instance, if you showed a child a toy star versus a toy spider, they can indicate whether they want to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star versus Incy Wincy Spider. You may be already doing activities like baby massage or crafts, and these can be opportunities to incorporate the importance and key messages of why it's important to chat to your child. For some children that have language, you could give them a sticker at the end of their session. The sticker could act as a prompt for the parent to ask them more about what they had done and communicated that day. For example, the sticker may say, "Ask me about my rocket I drew," or "Chat to me about my fun time during water play." It is important to consider your staff's confidence and skills in the areas of speech, language and communication. We offer termly training that you can book on free of charge, and these are all listed on the Blackpool Teaching Hospital website via a booking form. Another way to identify strengths and gaps around practitioners' knowledge and skills in the area of speech, language and communication needs is the Speech and Language and Communication Framework, which can be accessed via the portal link listed. This is a great audit tool as it can signpost you to further information of those areas you may be less sure of. For example, children that are bilingual, you may rate yourself as not too confident in this area. Therefore, you can use the pop-up window to access relevant websites, articles and video clips to enhance your learning. Take some time now to explore the SLCN framework as you will need to register. Take a look now at some of the main ways when working with parents, particularly if the child has a speech, language and communication need. If you have any parents that have English as an additional language, the YouTube clip, Your Language is a Gift, is worth a watch. It is also important to remember to find out if the child has been referred or has involvement from other professionals such as health visitors, speech and language therapists, Blenheim House, family support and paediatricians, to name a few. This helps to provide a holistic picture of how the child is presenting and what else might be going on in that child's life. Pause the presentation now to watch the YouTube clip, Your Language is a Gift. So if you have parents that do have a concern about speech and language and you have already tried and shared strategies, then you need to consider two possible options. For those children, you have low-level concerns regarding their speech, language and communication skills. So they may be the children that are borderline green or amber on your welcome or from your observations. You can direct your parents to the telephone advice line. This is a 15-minute telephone call with a speech and language therapist. Parents can express their concern and some communication advice will be given. If the therapist feels a referral is needed, that will be discussed during the appointment. But ideally, direct parents to this telephone advice line for preventative advice. If you or the parent have definite concerns about speech and language, you can refer using the links on the website. Remember to gain parental consent. The referral form will ask you a series of questions of what you have tried already using the graduated approach. That may be things like targeted learning plans, any strategies, any early talk boost interventions, or the big book of ideas. The referral form is an opportunity to discuss what is working well and what you and the parent would like in terms of further support from the specialist speech and language service. So now you have listened to the presentation, you may want to share this with your colleagues in your setting and re-listen to any parts you need to. It will be really helpful to gain your feedback around this presentation using the QR code listed below. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you found some new ideas and things to consider around promoting speech, language and communication with your parents.